Eons ago, in 2010, a bunch of brilliant people, especially Brian, commenced work on a Nintendo DSi game called SteamWorld Tower Defense. Little did they know that this would be the dawn of a lore so deep and captivating that one day it would require its own episode on SteamWorld Telegraph.
Here we are! I'm your host, Brian Sigurgesson, and today I have the very great honor of introducing the SteamWorld lore masters themselves to you. We've got Peter Broqvist and Oliver Elm. Guys, a big welcome to the fashionable studio. Before we begin, I'd like to point out that there may be spoilers in today's episode. So if you haven't played all of the SteamWorld games yet, I suggest this is a good time for you to take a break and take a few days off and play through all of the SteamWorld games and then come back and watch this episode. So guys, please tell us about yourselves. So, Peter, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I've been a writer and a tech artist here at Thunderful for going on 11 years now, I think. So I've been around for a while and worked on most of the SteamWorld games.
And you said tech artist. What is a tech artist? What do we pay you to do?
Yeah, it's mostly rigging for SteamWorld. Since we moved from just animating inside After Effects, we started to rig the characters and have bones to animate and move them more smoothly with a higher frame rate.
So it's graphics, but it's the difficult part of graphics.
Yeah, the smart part.
The smart part. Okay, very good. And Oliver, how about you?
As the opposite of Peter, the dumb part of graphics. I'm a 2D artist and a narrative designer.
Maybe we should start at the beginning, though. I mean, so if we start with the first game in the series, I mean, how much lore would you say there is in that first game, in SteamWorld Tower Defense?
I would say minimal, but still with heart. Like they like from what I've understood, it was Olle Håkansson and Björn Håkansson, the two legendary brothers that have worked on all the SteamWorld games, pretty much. And together with Tobias, the art director, they kind of shaped that world. At least that's what I've understood. You were there, so you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly, yeah.
For me, since I started working on Dig, that's where it starts for me, except for the setting. And basically what we started off with was what I got story-wise when we started Dig was mainly just this robot called Rusty has gotten a deed to his old uncle's mine, and he meets Dorothy at the start, and she's a plucky robot girl, and that's basically what we started out with. And the rest just fell into place while making the game.
The next game after SteamWorld Dig was SteamWorld Heist, which is a completely different game. And I can just imagine what you had to go through to sort of stitch that together.
We had to explain how the robots got out and why the robots got out into space. And that's where like the big cataclysm of the Earth getting destroyed was developed, and a lot of it was just spitballing how did they end up in space, and not really telling that story, but jumping right straight into something new, because also it's a very different gameplay from Dig, and we wanted to not connect them too closely.
What happens when the designers decide to change the gameplay? Because you're the ones working with that. Like, yeah, we're not going to have this feature. Instead, we're gonna go for this.
And we drink.
Yeah.
We just
we just scramble and redo it. Try to explain. Try to reuse as much as we can. Not having to like rewrite everything from scratch, and just trying to make up usually silly explanations, stuff that amuses us. Is a lot of there's a big part of it just trying to amuse ourselves with the answer for something. Is it silly, and can we present it in a sufficiently silly way that you say, oh yeah, I buy that.
Would you say that along the line? I mean, so Dig, Heist, Dig 2, and then Quest, and now SteamWorld Build is coming out. Would you say that anything along the way has been retconned? Yeah, would you mind explaining the term retcon, please?
Yeah, sure.
like changing something afterwards because you realize, whoa, what we're planning to do over here completely undermines what we did back there. Let's just pretend that this was the way we intended all along.
Let's add a line explaining the
Yes.
connection. No, there's a lot of retconning. We didn't plan. There's a lot of stuff we haven't planned out from the start and just reacting to it. Like how the Earth got broken wasn't really figured out when we did Heist, and having that be a large part of the story of Dig 2, that was when we started up Dig 2, we started discussing that if it's going to be in the world, in the timeline of Dig 1, maybe we should explain, sort of bridge the gap a little bit there.
SteamWorld Quest, I mean, it's a bit of a special case in the lore. That game, SteamWorld Quest, starts out with Seabrass telling his son a bedtime story. And then the game starts. Like, so what do we experience here? Is SteamWorld Quest is it on the timeline? Is it lore or is it canon? Or yeah, please guys, take it away.
Well, there's always truth to legends. Steambots base everything in their society on what humans did before. They can't really make stuff up by themselves. They base it on stories. So if they are making up an ancient past for Steambots, of course it's going to be a fantasy fairy tale society based on like medieval times. But yeah, that's basically, they've made up their own history based on something that has happened.
I would say for the perceptive player in future yet to be announced or released games, there might be some special hints that connect to Quest and throw all theories completely in a jumble about what's real and what's just legend.
In my mind, it was just, all of this was just a way for us to utilize the pun Gilgamesh instead of Gilgamesh. Let's bring on the newest game, SteamWorld Build. How does that fit into the lore of SteamWorld?
I think the real cool thing is that basically SteamWorld Build takes place at the same time as SteamWorld Dig 2 in many ways. So whilst you were playing SteamWorld Dig 2, future you was playing SteamWorld Build at the same time.
Wow! At the end of SteamWorld Dig 2, you can see multiple rockets taking off. So SteamWorld Build is literally the story of one of those other ships, is it?
Yeah,
exactly.
What in the lore, what in the SteamWorld lore do you think people have completely missed?
we wanted to have some secret area down in the hub where the shiners are hanging out, and both of us really like Handy Gabby, the crab-like mutant that can only say Baglarb.
Everybody's favorite Handy Gabby.
Mm-hmm. We started talking, and Oliver started drawing a little room in the hub, a little secret room that most players might not find.
We all know Barnacle Jones, the merchant that Dorothy sells her scavenged items to in Dig 2. Handy Gabby, down in the oasis where the shiners sort of live, in his secret room he has, well, basically a disguise to dress up as this Barnacle Jones. And Barnacle Jones is a crab, and Gabby has a crab claw. Of course, he's obsessed with this guy, you can surmise from looking at this room.
So it's a human that is
Yes.
obsessed with a robot that,
Yes.
that looks like a crab.
Yes. In the ending sequence of Dig 2, all the robots are lining up in this chaotic Armageddon scene, and they are gonna get on the spaceship and go up. And if you look closely, you can see that down at the bottom, Barnacle Jones is running around confused. But up in the line to the spaceship, we have Handy Gabby, or Baglarb, as we refer to him as, in his perfect Handy Gabby, in his disguise, his Barnacle Jones disguise, with the other robots standing in line. And the other robots are saying, okay, everybody, let's get on the ship. Barnacle Jones, are you ready? Handy Gabby says Baglarb, and they say, that's right, Barnacles, let's go. And he kind of joins them on the spaceship. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody comment on this.
So thanks a lot, guys. So for this episode's development update is going to be short and sweet. I only got one thing, and that is that SteamWorld Build, the game that we've been talking about quite a bit today, finally has a release date! So SteamWorld Build is coming to a platform near you on December 1st this year. And it's coming to Xbox, including Game Pass, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it just as much as I have. I've sunk hundreds of hours into that game, and I still love firing it up all the time. So, yeah, December 1st. And so that brings us to the community update section of the episode. And we've talked to the community and I asked them to send in questions, and we got a ton of questions. So we selected a few of them. From Draco1909, we get the question, is there any idea to do a SteamWorld visual novel video game? Or even just a simple comic?
I would love that. Have we not spoken about this?
We have spoken about making a comic, yeah.
Fund it and we'll do it.
From Mr. or Miss or Mrs. Brainy Twilight, we get the interesting question, did the diesel bots originate from before or after the world exploded? Were the original diesel bots built by humans as well?
Lore-wise, since SteamBots don't really make up stuff themselves, the technology is from humanity before, because humanity have gone in cycles and destroyed themselves several times during the history of SteamWorld, or before the history of SteamWorld rather. So the tech is already sort of there, but they've incorporated it to become stronger than the other bots and exerting control by just having a more effective way of propelling themselves.
Moving forward here, so from NVIDIA, wow, that's a great name. Is there a timeline of Dig 2 and the start of Heist? How long did everyone stay on the ship? Are any of them alive today? Did they help build the buildings and society in space?
They definitely helped build the buildings and society in space.
Yeah.
Are any of them alive today? To live today?
We don't know.
To be continued.
So from Juniescu Acosta we get, when is SteamWorld 3 coming? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
I would say the real SteamWorld 3 is the friends we made along the way.
Nicholas Lemmer says, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck was a steambot?
A lot of wood.
A lot. So much.
So much.
It
so
would
much.
be optimized.
Right. Well, thank you so much, guys. And I really feel that there is a lore part 2 coming up.
Thank you for hiring us in the first place, so that we could pay our bills and make games and joke about robots.
All day long.
All day long. Thank you so much.
And so, the brilliant and humble narrator wrapped up the show and thanked the participants Oliver and Peter for joining, and also you, dear viewer. Join us again in the next episode, where we'll talk about the sounds of SteamWorld. Farewell now.